everybody. Welcome to another edition of Wrestling with Redbeard, the YouTube show where I, Redbeard, take you on the road with me to a independent professional wrestling event somewhere in the Carolinas to give you a sense of what it's like to be a fan traveling the highways and byways in pursuit of this great passion that is professional wrestling. I'm joined again by a friend of the program and friend in real life, Billy Morris, who, as you'll notice, is behind the wheel here for this particular adventure. Typically it would be me in that position, but Billy's been courteous enough to let me ride shotgun on this particular trip, so we're appreciative of that. It's good to have a different line of sight on some of these things every once in a while. But we're headed on our way to Charlotte, North Carolina right now for PWX Premier Wrestling Xperience as they present The Line Has Been Drawn. This is their April 19th, 2015 show. This particular event is about as stacked a card as I can recall that PWX has assembled, which is something for them because they've become kind of the preeminent version of Pro Wrestling Guerrilla or Ring of Honor on this part of the country anyway, as far as what they bring in from one show to the next. They've got a main event match that's going to be, I believe, one of Samoa Joe's final independent appearances before he moves on potentially to greener pastures. The match here this evening is going to be with Cedric Alexander for the PWX title. In addition, they've got some other matches, including talent like Candice LeRae, Johnny Gargano, the Bravado Brothers, and a lot of the normal PWX stars. So we got a lot to look forward to. In going to this show, this is the first PWX show I've been to since their show, which was entitled Phenomenal Debut about a year and a half ago, I believe, up in Winston-Salem. And I think this is the first one you said for you, right, Billy? Period.
Yeah, it's the first one I've ever been to.
So we're both looking forward to this a lot, but we're hoping that PWX does not suffer the same fate that the last promotion we visited suffered. As you may recall, and as you may be aware, last show we went to together, and this was for episode 14 of the program, we went to Championship Wrestling live from Myrtle Beach. Well, not too long after that particular show, Championship Wrestling live from Myrtle Beach ceased to exist, and they've apparently shuttered the operation. We don't know if they're ever going to come back or do anything else at all. Looks like it's done, but things could change. You never know. But I think that's upset some people because of the fact that they had a lot of talk in advance of what they were going to be doing in terms of like a Hall of Heroes being an actual physical location. And in addition, they had at least two other shows that were booked that some of the talent in the area, I think, had a little bit of a, I don't want to say they had a fun time with promoter Greg Price, but they definitely seemed to have egged him on a bit in announcing almost before he had that the April 18th event was not going to be happening, by way of saying I'm available for bookings on April 18th. So but we're not too far from the venue here now. Charlotte is always an interesting drive because of the roads being up through here, and it's also raining, so if you hear some noise in the background, it's probably the windshield wipers and whatnot going. But I feel like we say this almost every show, but there's a lot going on in the world of professional wrestling right now. Been a lot going on for a while, which is a good thing. We're coming off of WrestleMania season. Tremendous shows there. Mania, I think, this year was one of the better shows that there have been in quite some time. Billy, was there a match that stuck out in your mind from that particular card?
Yeah, several of them actually. I liked the IC title match with the ladders, and that was always good. And I really liked the main event. I thought the Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns match was, even though it, you could take the ending for what it was, whether you liked it or not, but I enjoyed the match itself. I thought that it was very entertaining. Overall, I thought the entire event was cool.
Yeah. It was definitely one of the better shows as of late that they've done. Better Manias as well. Like Billy was saying, the Intercontinental title match was phenomenal. Anytime you introduce that number of talented guys into one scenario, I think you're pretty well setting yourself up for success, and they definitely did in that situation. In addition, you've got a lot of stuff going on in terms of independence around this area and the country as a whole. You've got continued success being shown by Ring of Honor, PWG, other promotions like that. Want to take a second and just point out the fact that the happenings around the Carolinas are really picking up, because this weekend here alone, I think there were as many as between 6 and 8 shows happening either in North Carolina or South Carolina. South Carolina doesn't have as many as North Carolina, but there are some things rolling down the pipe that are going to bring more shows to South Carolina. You have promotions like WrestleForce, Trans-South, Old School Championship Wrestling that are running pretty well regular events, but then you also have announcements that have come down from some people who are starting a promotion up in the upstate called Battle Zone Wrestling that's going to be coming soon. You've got
CWA had
CWA
last night, I believe.
They surely did, yeah. CWA running regularly in Orangeburg and drawing big crowds there. I think somewhere between 300 and 500 people on a clip there. Ultra Wrestle is doing great things in the western part of the state. And then you've also got an announcement earlier this week from Jackson James, who's going to be running his own show up in Walhalla. So you've got some attention being brought to South Carolina now as well, which is great, because we seem to be, between North and South Carolina, the state that doesn't get quite as much attention as the other Carolina, I wouldn't put it that way. I want to take a moment to point out, and this is probably going to become a regular thing that we discuss here, a talent that I in particular have been impressed by here a lot recently, and that is BJ Hancock, the modern classic BJ Hancock. He had a match at the last WrestleForce show with Ricardo Rodriguez, who of course was at one point in time the personal ring announcer to Alberto Del Rio, as he was known, now Alberto El Patron. But he had a match there, and Zane Riley was involved. Tremendously entertaining contest. BJ, if you followed him at all, and you know where he's come from, just in terms of looking back on the days when, like, he was working for APW in Chester, for example, and other promotions, if you look at his entire body of work, you can see the strides that he's made, and in particular here recently, you can see the development that he's done in progressing his physique and really starting to buckle down and take this seriously. So BJ is one to watch, in my opinion. He was recently involved in the ECWA Super 8 tournament. He and Jackson James and Corey Hollis were also involved there. He's, in my opinion, one to watch. So that's my MVP here recently. Billy, has there been anybody in your mind that's stuck out to you?
Yeah, other than the guys that we've normally mentioned, I'm looking forward to seeing Trevor Lee. He's really impressed me every time I see him. They're just growing by leaps and bounds, and his character and what he can do in the ring is. I'm really excited to watch him live and see where he takes his career next.
Trevor's one of those guys who's gotten a lot of opportunities. He's worked during the Carolinas, of course, but then he's also been with PWG. He's worked internationally. He was involved with CZW's Best of the Best tournament here this year. Been with Omega. He's one of those guys who gets around. Excuse me, my throat's starting to close up on me as I talk more. Maybe that's a sign that I should shut up. But the thing with him is that, and this is what we were discussing earlier today as well, that, you know, for a long time we had a lot of guys who were in the independents who were either really tremendous athletes who knew what they were doing and who could get around in the ring and were fun to watch from that particular perspective. Then they might not have had all that much in the way of charisma. By contrast, then you had some guys who might not have had a great physique or might not have been that great of a worker, but then they had a personality that you couldn't turn away from. Trevor Lee is one of those guys who's got a combination of both. He's got a tremendous physique, but at the same time, his theatrics are such that you just want to watch what he's going to do, because he's that level of crazy. The Carolina Caveman gimmick fits him to a T, I think. So, that said, and since I'm now coughing left and right, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this opening segment here. Again, this is Wrestling with Redbeard, episode 15. We're here for PWX in Charlotte, North Carolina. And Billy, anything that you're looking forward to on the show here? Any particular matches that have been?
I was going to say looking forward to it. I was going to say the exit.
In 1 mile, exit to the right, 2, exit 9BC, Highway 74 East, and then keep right on Highway 74 East.
I'm looking forward to the entire card, actually. I'm real excited about it. I've seen DVDs of this promotion. I've gone online through their website and watched the television show that they had, and I've been highly impressed with it, so I'm really excited to get to see it live for the first time.
Yep. I think the fans in attendance here are in for a really big event. I think this is going to be a phenomenal show here. So, that said, I'm going to wrap this part of the show up. We'll be back with some clips and highlights. If you enjoy what you see here on Wrestling with Redbeard, please take a moment to like and subscribe. We always appreciate that type of thing. It lets us know that you're actually watching the show. If you would, check out too the... yes, I think it's it right here. I think so. Yeah. We're watching our GPS while we're getting up here in Charlotte, because the roads in Charlotte can be confusing as you know what. But at any rate, appreciate you guys liking and subscribing to the program. Lets us know that you're actually watching and whatnot here. And we'll be back here later on with some highlights and whatnot. But in the meantime, if you would, try and search out our social media sites. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. We'll see you in the show.
We're past the Panther Stadium.
Oh, yes.
Water.
Yeah.
If I try to cut, I'm going to rut everything out. I can't even cut. So I have to wait till it dries at least 2 or 3 days.
Yeah. That's the thing with ours, is that it's to a point to where I'll probably hopefully we'll be able to cut it Monday. But it's to a point now where I just worry about the mower almost bogging down.
Yeah.
So.
Combined, whenever I cut, I don't like to cut directly wet because it gums up underneath the mower.
Yeah.
And the chances of throwing your belt off is still higher.
Yep.
Anytime I put a belt on the lawnmower, it's just round perfect.
It's crazy. I'm assuming this is where we go in. Nope, we're not.
Yeah.
Oh. Maybe this door? Nope. This door? Nope. Well, that one's cracked, so. Yep. No worries, sir. Good to meet you. No worries, sir. Second row.
PWX Wrestling
balls.
Alright, everybody. It's another edition of Wrestling with Redbeard in the can there. It's number 15. A very, very entertaining event with PWX in Charlotte, North Carolina. I dare say one of the better shows either of us have seen in quite some time.
It was a great show, yeah. From top to bottom. Loved it. It was really good.
Like we were talking on the way down here as well, the crowd interaction, the crowd was hot the entire night.
And it had to be, what, 500 people
at least,
easily?
At least. If it was, I don't know that they would do standing room only in that club there because they probably have fire code and whatnot. Well, they obviously have fire code to live up to, but just the amount of people that was in there, if there was an empty seat, I didn't see it. So I think they definitely made their money off their payroll there this evening. That was a tremendous show top to bottom. I could not tell you a match that to me would not have been worth the price of admission. There were just a ton of amazing athleticism moments on display here, and a lot of broken chairs. not from people being hit over the head with them, just a lot of dives to the outside that wound up in some furniture being shattered. So was there anything in particular that stood out in your mind there, Billy?
Well, actually, they brought in some what I would consider nationally named independent talents, like Samoa Joe, Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae, and they're great. We all know they're great. But what impresses me is how our quote-unquote local talent can every bit hang with them. Mm-hmm. And it shows you just the quality and the depth of talent that the Carolinas produce for the independent scene. That these guys, I mean, they belong on a national stage, and they need to have a presence known because the talent's just unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. You look at somebody like a Cedric Alexander or a John Schuyler, who here this evening were involved with matches featuring talent that have been with PWG, they've been with Ring of Honor, they've been with, Evolve, Dragon Gate, whatever else. And to see them hang with those guys step for step, move for move, it's like, you know what? They're in the same class. There's no reason to think that the Carolinas can't produce talent of that same caliber. And we're very pleased. I know fans like myself and Billy are very pleased to have something like PWX that's local, that we had to drive 2 hours, but hey, some people don't have this type of thing, period. You can think of somebody in, I don't know, Kansas or whatever else, where they probably wouldn't have something along these lines. I don't know if they have wrestling at all in Kansas, to be honest with you, but I think we're fortunate as fans to have access to something like this. It's a great thing. I feel like I'm gushing about the show, but the fact of the matter is we had a great time, and I think it was worth the drive, worth the price of admission.
Absolutely.
Worth getting soaked at one point in time. We're dried off now because we're coming to you a little bit after our exit from the club, but it was pouring down rain. We were just about in monsoon conditions there, it seemed like. But
nasty weather.
Yeah, nasty weather. So, but even with that, it was a fun trip. Anytime you can get out and have a little road trip for wrestling and whatnot, it's always a good time, I find. So, that said, another edition of Wrestling with Redbeard. Wrapping it up here from, we're now in Columbia. We were in Charlotte, we're in Columbia now. Fun time. Billy, appreciate it.
Enjoyed it. Look forward to the next one. To the Wrestling with Redbeard. Would this be 16? Would be the next one?
Next one will be 16.
16,
yeah.
So okay. Keep a watch out for that.
There you go. And like we said before, like, subscribe, and check us out on social media. Facebook.com/WrestlingRedbeard, and on Twitter, Wrestling Redbeard. Links for that are in the description, and other information about PWX and good stuff will be in there as well. So we appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll see you down the road.